everybody, welcome back to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from XTERRA Oak Mountain. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, two-time winner, Ironman 70.3 Santa Cruz, two-time winner, escaped from Alcatraz, the star of that triathlon life, Mr. Eric Lagerstrom. How you doing, E?
I'm doing good, Bob. It's good to see you here.
Always. Yeah, I know. You got dirt on. I love it.
Yeah.
That's very cool. You are in character for a little XTERRA.
Yeah, I cut my course ride a little bit close. I had to do some pictures with one of the brands that I work with. And
yes.
That always runs a little bit longer than you think, so I didn't have time to change before coming to talk to you.
But you know what? What's great is what you do this for is hopefully having sponsors and having support. And you guys are doing great.
Yeah. Paul and I were having a blast, really doing exactly what we want to do in the sport, which means that now I have good enough sponsors and have established myself well enough that I can come do races like this that I've always wanted to do. And bonus, they've started doing the XTERRA World Tour this year, which means there's a little bit more money and a little bit more incentive to get more around the globe. So it's a pretty exciting time for XTERRA.
Well, and short track as well. So you race the long race tomorrow, short track on Sunday.
Yeah.
And short track is short.
It's very short. Yeah, I think it's, a 400-meter swim and a 7K bike and 2K, 3K run.
And it's 2-loop swim, 3-loop bike, 2-loop run, high intensity.
Yeah.
Great television.
Yeah, not much of the training that I've been doing the last few years since I started 70.3 has prepared me for that, but I'm going to try to tap back into those super sprint days and just see what happens.
You've always been one of those guys, though, who likes the races that are different. Like Escape from Alcatraz is a different gig. You're jumping off a boat, you're swimming in cold water, you're riding across a bridge, you're running on the sand ladder, all that type of stuff. Those are unique type of events. Santa Cruz, right? Same type of thing. And then here, this was your first XTERRA a couple years ago.
Yep.
You're out of the water. You're thinking, this is great. I'm right up in the lead. Mechanical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of mountain biking quickly is riding within a limit.
Right.
Yes, you could push it a little bit further, but then you're seriously risking blowing a tire or crashing or anything.
Right.
So sometimes you feel like you could maybe ride a little bit harder than you can, but you're riding dangerously and it's only a matter of time before something happens. So that's where I was at 2 years ago. I didn't have that much experience mountain biking and I hadn't ridden this course ever, and a lot of these guys have done this for the last 6 years.
Yep.
So I just, like, at a critical moment, took the wrong line, flatted my rear catastrophically, and that was the end of the day.
So talk about this course, because you've had a chance to ride this thing. There's blood. Anytime there's a course with blood rock on it, you know that it's not going to be the mellowest thing in the world. Yeah.
I mean, blood rock is the feature on the whole course, but really the course offers like a little bit of everything. It's a true mountain bike course. There's flat sections with a lot of turns and roots, and the climbing section is fairly technical with rocks and chunky stuff. So it's not like in a 70.3 where you can just bury your head, get into this focus zone of hold 300 and whatever watts.
Right.
You have to be looking 100% of the time, or you're gonna go off the course or hit a rock, or anything can happen. Yeah,
and you got roots, it's been wet. You got all the cool stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing that comes into play with XTERRA that isn't so much of a thing in long course racing is the tire combination. Like, what tire are you going to run? What PSI are you going to run? What's pressure are you going to have in your shock? Are you running the same tire in the front or the back? And wet tires versus dry tires and weight of the tires. It's like
a lot of details.
It's so much stuff, and everybody has a different opinion. So I've never really gone into one of these things feeling like I'm dialed, I got exactly what I need. You just kind of like get as close as you can and rely on your skills on the race day, I guess.
What's fun is you got all these veterans. You got Josiah Middow. You've got this guy Paco, who's also 43, 44 years old. And then you got Sullivan Middow, who's 19. You got this great range. And the other side, besides all the single track on the bike, the run single track as well. It's one of those things that you could get someone can get out of sight, out of mind. It's hard to spot where you are in the race.
Oh, 100%. On both the bike and the run, if you're 30 seconds up, 20 seconds up even, you might never, the person behind you might never see you.
Right.
So it's a little bit, there's some tactics to do with, there's some tactics in there, and then also just always maintaining focus, because
Right.
you just never know. You got to stay on the gas all the time, because somebody could be right up there, and that could be the podium.
So Portland, XTERRA, you win that.
Yeah. That was a little bit different level of race than this. We've got
Right.
crazy field at this race, but that's kind of a home race for me, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot like this, maybe not as technical rocky stuff, but very much you have to stay focused the whole time. It's all single track. It's around a beautiful lake. So, I mean, I was happy to win that, but I need to bring those skills and that, intensity over to this space and be able to hang with the guys who are over here from Europe who have been doing XTERRA for years and years.
So being one of the better swimmers in this field, when people, when the top mountain bikers come up, there's a good chance if they go by, you can sort of follow their line.
Yeah.
Which is something it could be real positive.
Exactly. Yeah. I think ideal situation is I'm off the front with 2 or 3 guys,
Yes.
maybe Sam Osborne's there quickly,
Yes.
or, whoever it is. I think McKelly Bonachina came out of the water like 2 seconds in front of me in Ibiza 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And if it's just a couple of us and Sam knows the course really well, we can move quickly and then work together on the climb, and ideally not ever see some of the rest of the field. But that would be great, and we'll see what happens, because anything can happen.
So Ibiza, did you get 6th there in Ibiza?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yep, 6th.
And so that was the first one from World Triathlon that you had done. What'd you come away with from that?
I went to that really to find out how I stacked up against the guys who were podiuming perennially at XTERRA World Championships. And funny enough, like, multiple of them are here at this race, so maybe I didn't need to do that. But I came away from that knowing that, like, on a good day, I think I can hang with them, because I led the whole first lap on the bike. And maybe I slowed them down a teeny bit, but they didn't come blazing around me or anything. So it's not like, if you're going slow, somebody's going to come around you real quick.
Right.
And then I got dropped on one of the climbs on the second thing, but I learned that I think technically I'm pretty close, and then just working on some of these like full gas, shorter efforts to be able to do
acceleration.
Oh man, there's no such thing as getting in a rhythm in XTERRA. It's just up,
really,
down,
right?
Up and down, turn, and so you're gonna be going 500 watts 0, 600 0.
Wow.
Totally
different
versus this like even.
Yeah, with 70.3.
Yeah. So you get off and you're like, your back is killing you and everything hurts, and then you got to go run.
Last year, you win Alcatraz for the second time, and you win Santa Cruz. I mean, this was a great year for you. You look back at the year. Had you done different type of training going in, or just things just sort of clicked?
I think things clicked pretty well for me. I had a good year the year before, finishing off strong with 70.3 world champs.
Yep.
And I just felt like in a good place, I guess. Have good sponsors. We're loving where we live now. We're just like,
you're in a good place.
Yeah.
Your business is going well.
Fairly low stress.
Yes.
And I felt like I was able to just race and train as hard as I could just because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I didn't have this sense of like nervousness or having to prove something or being afraid of not paying the bills or whatever. And that was like a really cool place to be in. And I'm just trying to carry that into this year as well.
It's funny because I think people look at the athletes and they don't quite get the, what do you mean, pay the bills? You're a professional athlete. You're LeBron James. You guys are making big bank.
Yeah.
People don't quite understand that there's a lot of times you're racing hopefully to make enough money to pay rent back in the day. And things have changed.
Yeah, for sure. I've been racing since 2012.
Right.
For 11 years now, and there was a long period of time there where it was just break even, just cover expenses, try to get to races and everything. And a lot of people are stuck in that cycle.
Yes.
And there's just racing, in my opinion, is getting faster and faster, and more people are doing it. But there's also less money, except for like the top 10 in the PTO Tour race. There's a lot of money there. And I don't think anybody really gets into this to get rich. You definitely can't, because the chances are so low. You'd be better off like going to Vegas and putting it all on red, I think. But if you love it enough and can get through to this place where you're in the top couple % in the world, then you're making a living and you're comfortable. But I don't think anybody's getting crazy rich.
No. Well, it's funny when the whole thing happened with Colin, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" I had a guy from the New York Times call me up, and he's like,
Yeah.
Why are you guys people so freaked out about one guy going positive for EPO and running? We have that every week."
Right.
And my response was, you know what? I have never felt there was enough money in our sport for someone to be able to afford that type of drug protocol. Like when Floyd Landis was making $400,000 as domestique on the team back in the day.
Right.
I just have never felt the risk reward was worth it to potentially see your name in the paper, your family's name in the paper associated with cheating. I've never felt that.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I feel like a lot of the time that doesn't necessarily come down purely to a financial thing. I feel like for some people, maybe like there's guys that have to do something to get from minor league baseball into Major League Baseball to pay the bills. And there's certainly Kenyans who need to, like their alternatives are my family's poor forever, or I take some drugs and, I'm not saying that, you can imagine that scenario being much more possible. And the alternative is I take something and I win the Boston Marathon and my whole village is fed forever. So I think we have to understand that, but I think a lot of times it does come down to a pride and a, needing to prove something. And I don't know how much it costs to do EPO, to be totally honest. I've never looked into it. And my sort of frame of mind has always been to just, like, there's nothing I can do about that personally, and I put it out of my mind as much as I can. So I'm sure that there are some people out there doing a lot of stuff that is on the gray zone, but I'd like to think that our sport on the whole is a little bit clean. Is a little bit better place than running or cycling, has been. Right.
Well, I always look at it from, like you said, as somebody who's the risk reward. The risk reward, if I win, if I'm from a country where I can be a farmer, I can be a policeman, I can be in the army, or I can go run and I can change the destiny of not just my family right now, but generational wealth, then that risk reward for somebody might make sense. But I don't know. I think for so many of our athletes, look at you're doing well by producing that triathlon life, and then there's Sky Launch has a CPA. And so many of our athletes have other things.
Yeah, we're very privileged to have, if we fall out of triathlon tomorrow, a lot of us could go get a job doing something else.
Exactly.
And not everybody in the world can say that.
No, that's true. Which means to me that I'm hoping there's less of a chance that people are going down that path.
Yeah.
XTERRA, and again, we talk about dollars, and when I'm interviewing a lot of the athletes, I'm a teacher, I've got a bike shop, or I'm working at a bike shop. There's so far there's been less dollars in it, but this year with the whole idea of the World Cup and having dollars that commiserate with the type of effort people are putting in makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I feel like XTERRA has gone through this process of trying to find itself and come up with a series like this, and now it's really coming around, and my hope would be that just like on the PTO tour and everything, this makes these athletes more attractive to sponsors, because even doing 70.3 right now, like my income certainly does not come primarily from winning races.
No.
Like that's part of it, but you can't rely on that.
No.
But if you're being seen on TV and you're being interviewed and everything, then that's obviously more valuable, and hopefully that can make it over to XTERRA and we can have more athletes that can make a living, and then that'll just grow the whole thing and the cycle perpetuates itself.
Right. My gut is with Super League, with World Triathlon, with Ironman, with 70.3, with PTO, with XTERRA, with Challenge, with Clash, there's a lot of opportunity as a pro athlete.
Yep.
And I think it's a great era to be a professional athlete, professional triathlete. So hopefully we'll see more and more. You see yourself doing more XTERRA races?
Yeah, I would love to. After I finished up that race in Ibiza, it just really fired me up, and I was thinking about all the different ways that I could train and improve and what I want to do to work on skills and everything, and I haven't felt that strongly in a few years now. So I'm going to start looking at the schedule and seeing how I can fit in the travel to some of these other races, and I would love to do it.
And the cool part is when you bring that triathlon life to this, right, to XTERRA, it showcases a lot of these athletes who haven't been showcased before, and it showcases a sport that a lot of our age groupers might not have even thought about trying.
Oh yeah, the number of people who I've gotten messages from that say, I didn't even knew off-road triathlon existed.
Yes.
Well, it blows my mind because I've been aware of it forever and just haven't been able to do it because of my on-road schedule. But that to me, it just shows that there's a lot of opportunity. I think so many people would show up to this and feel the energy and see the camping and the beer garden and the whole thing and just be like, this is killer. I'm doing every one of these on schedule.
It's the mellowest thing. And what I really enjoy is the athletes all saying, hey, listen, I'm traveling to the airport with these other pros, and then we're renting a car together, we're going to the race, they're kicking my ass, or I'm kicking their ass, we're getting back in the car, we're going back to the airport, and we're going to the next race. There's just a family feel that is very unique that I really enjoy.
Like you said, I mean, everybody is here because they love it.
Yes.
Nobody's here because they're looking to get rich or looking to be the most famous or anything. Everybody's here because they love it.
Perfect. And I love the fact you're here.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
Gonna be a ton.
Can't
it's
wait.
Gonna be fun to watch you race tomorrow.
And
on Sunday.
And on Sunday. Yeah, we'll see what I got left for that.
Love it. Eric Lagerstrom has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob from XTERRA Oak Mountain. On Sunday, I'll be doing the call of the short track race with Jamie Whitmore, who's a 37-time XTERRA champion, one-time world champion. Can't wait. And tomorrow, Eric and the rest of the guys and the top women will be racing. It's going to be an amazing weekend. Definitely check it out online. And thank you for watching Breakfast with Bob from beautiful XTERRA Oak Mountain, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.